Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. MedLab in Smith Road Plaza, your complete medical laboratory solution. Call 949-7331. And Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village, convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays.
Oh, I think they're doing a great job. A lot of them are.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you?
Not too bad, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today with Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
May God bless every person.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us on another magnificent Monday's edition of Talk Today, as we have what I think is a distinct pleasure once again to welcome our good friends from Cayman Enterprise City and share with you some excellent things that are happening. So please stay tuned for Talk Today.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255. Courtesy of Flow,
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us as we invite you to be part of what promises to be another spectacular week. And hopefully one that is not just enjoyable, safe and healthy, but memorable in a very positive way. With that, it's always a pleasure to be able to welcome the CEO of Cayman Enterprise City, Mr. Charles Kirkconnell. And I enjoy you making time in your schedule to sit with us on a regular basis. So good afternoon to you, and Feliz Navidad.
all right, well, thanks for having me back. I won't attempt any Spanish.
I was told, did you fluent, my friend? You could speak us. No, man. It's beautiful, though. I think language in itself is something that as you just move about Cayman, you can see the importance of it. And when you think of what is unfolding, the different opportunities that, as I was trying to be somewhat jovial with my Spanish, I look at your growing portfolio within Cayman Enterprise City, and even though they have a technology sort of slant, we see a much promise for the local populace in terms of career opportunities.
Yeah, well, we're doing. We have a lot of things on the go. Sometimes I feel like the focus of what we do is on building out our community and knowledge transfer initiatives and all of these sort of thing. And the truth of it is, they very justifiably so. I think that is a very, very important part of what we do. It's a very important part of our mission. So it's great for us to have an opportunity to come in and talk this morning. This afternoon, I should say.
Yeah.
It's this afternoon now. Sorry, it's Monday. To have a chance to come in and talk about two important initiatives: our internship program and our business design competition.
And this is where I think Peter, when you look at public engagement, so to speak, as we use that term increasingly, it's not just about telling people, but it's actually to engage them, to not unlike what we do at Christmas, engage some beef. We want it to be the promise and the potential. But tell us about it. I mean, someone in the city? Internship?
There's someone in the city. Okay, so the internship program, this is another year successfully, hopefully, running this competition. So we're seeing a massive increase in interest year on year. We only recently opened up for applications, and we're already seeing very high numbers of people applying. So these people, when they apply, they'll get to hopefully work inside the Special Economic Zone, take on an internship there, work for one of our Special Economic Zone partner companies, gain some viable experience, because these days you need more than just like the education, the bit of paper that says your degree, your certificate. You need to go and add extra mile and get that actual real world experience. And in many of those cases, those internship opportunities turn into career. opportunities.
I think way back when, many of us got a job and we stuck it out, and maybe at some point we kind of figured out, well, this is either what we want or we don't want. But an internship gives us a chance to sort of sample. You know, you think you know what it is, you're not quite sure, you might have no clue, but you get a chance to feel it out. If I can, with the greatest respect, I think back to 1,000 years ago when some of us had what necessarily were not internships but summer jobs. And depending on where you were working, you always seemed, because you were young, inexperienced, and maybe it was a liability issue, but maybe they didn't want you. They stuck you away. If you're in the offices, you did, the messenger, and you did the file, and you did the things that if you were in construction, okay, well, pick up this shovel, move this wheelbarrow. Yeah. Your internships, though, I kind of gather it's more hands-on, and
you do a lot more than getting the coffee for. You're actually working on proper projects. Yeah. So all the people that applied, they go through an interview process, so we understand what their skills are, what their experience is, where they want to go with their careers, and we partner them with companies that can offer that. So it's actual meaningful experiences they're getting. They're working on proper projects and contributing to those companies.
Could we ask maybe two things at the outset? Not just is there an age group and a limit and the like, but maybe what sort of potential internship opportunities where the applicants might end up in, but age and limitations relative to capacity.
Okay, so the age group is 18 to 25, and they have to be Canadian.
Okay.
So we're wanting to create opportunities for Canadians, basically to try and take the skills and knowledge that we have through our partners in the Special Economic Zone and put that into the wider Cayman community, and hopefully, create some future leaders here in the islands.
So with that age, then you would see the person not long out of high school, maybe in sixth form, maybe it's a college student. So potentially not fully employed, the person who takes up the internship could be able to devote what sort of commitments we want.
Well, there is a bit of flexibility. So we prefer them to have the ability to commit, sufficient time and resource of their own to those internships. So it would be typically 1 to 3 months working with the Special Economic Zone company. But we recognise that some people might have other commitments as well. And we basically try and work with the partner company and the intern to try and get a schedule that works best for both.
Okay. And with that, then, over that 1 to 3 months, you get a good insight into what's happening. What sort of areas that potentially may be available to other interns?
There's such a wide scope there in terms of all the different companies. So there's a lot of tech-related companies. There's ones that are in the medtech sector. There's some finance. I don't know, Charlie, you might be able to give a better insight to some of those companies.
Yeah, digital marketing companies. Medtech, blockchain, Web3. The kind of the broad kind of spectrum of businesses that are set up in the SEZ, and typically the if there's a intern that has an interest in something, we have broad enough that we can find something that works for them. So we encourage anybody who might be interested, whether it's in a tech-focused internship or not, to contact us, and we'll do what we can to match you up with a relevant a good opportunity.
And how would potential applicants not only get more information but apply for consideration? Peter?
Looks like I missed the question there.
Can you do the drop down menu and select rice and beans for me on that lunch order? Roller coleslaw. I was asking for those who want to apply, how might they apply, and where would they find out for the potential opportunities?
Okay, apologies. I was trying to grab some information on the program on my laptop there.
That's good, man.
So basically,
rice and beans, okay.
So if somebody wants to get involved in the internship program, what they should do, they should go on to the enterprisecayman.ky website. There's a link there for internships, and there's apply now, and then there's a very simple form which we ask them to fill in, and we get a little bit of an understanding of their skills and experience, and where they want to do, and then we'll try and partner up with a company. So it's a very streamlined process. You go on the website enterprisecayman.ky and fill in the form, and then we'll hopefully take it from there.
All right. So when we come back from the break, not only maybe discuss more about the internship opportunities and the like, and the next offering and potential what our cohort could sort of benefit, but let's talk about the design competition as well. Because that was fascinating. All right, I'm going to chat, and no, I didn't want rice and beans, but I'll take some with hot sauce. All right, I'm going to pause and take a break. When we come back, more talk today.
You know, Savannah Pharmacy saved my life.
Really? Was it the medication they got you?
No, not this time. I forgot my wife's birthday. They were the perfect place for last-minute shopping.
That's one way to give yourself heart failure. Don't wait last minute for Christmas. Savannah Pharmacy is stocked up for Christmas right now. Gifts for men, women, and children. Home decor, clothes, toys for all ages, fragrances, candles, handbags, and so much more. I was there the other day, and trust me, they'll even wrap all your presents too.
Savannah Pharmacy, a lifesaver in more ways than one.
Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village provides you with more than just prescriptions. Always just around the corner with everything your family needs for this holiday season. WhatsApp your prescription refills to 929-5045.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab. Blood test, x-ray and mammogram, all of that is MedLab. Affordable fees and friendly service, a full professional team. MedLab is always comfortable, MedLab is always clean. For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
The MedLab family would like to wish the entire Cayman Islands community a very Merry Christmas.
Cayman, get ready for the Coca-Cola Truck Parade, Christmas Truck Parade, December 20th, 5:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. Toys for kids, music for all, get to meet Santa, giveaway of Coca-Cola products, and more. Starts at 5:30 p.m. at the Turtle Farm, West Bay Fire Station, Governors Beach, Cardinal Avenue, Windsor Park, Country and Western Bar, and ending 8:30 p.m. at South Sound Dock.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
How do you turn your house into a home for the holidays?
Well, by getting your home furnishings and accessories from Tomlinson Furniture and the Mattress Gallery. Whether entertaining large parties or having a cozy Christmas, Tomlinson Furniture has a wide selection of pieces perfect for your purpose. Shop now until Christmas Eve and be entered to win weekly prizes. For daily specials, follow our Facebook and Instagram pages. Wishing our faithful customers a happy holiday season. Visit Tomlinson Furniture and the Mattress Gallery in the Tomlinson Building, corner of Hospital and Walkers Road.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne EBANKS.
Hey, good afternoon, welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And in the studio, excellent opportunity to continue talking about Cayman Enterprise today as we speak to the CEO of Sir Charlie Kirkconnell. And no, is it the EVP or just the VP for public engagement? Man?
VP.
VP, not EVP yet?
No, not yet.
Charlie, should we talk about that? I mean, no, Mr. Peter Riley. And I say that knowing as I look at my notes what it is, but for us to get away from maybe not just words and semantics, but understand the importance. And I like, the potential that Enterprise City is offering, not only for the added sort of engine to the economy, but the opportunities for people. Many times, we would like to do something, but we thought that would mean start a market in it for Cayman. That would mean physically relocating. But no, potentially, nothing is impossible. You base there and you travel elsewhere, right, Charlie?
Yeah. Absolutely.
It can happen. All right. But the business design competition. I was interested each time you have it, the things, and I underscored the word business because many times we see it as a for-profit, but it doesn't have to be. Or does it?
Well, I mean, for our business design competition, we've been asked the question about whether an NPO could participate, and we kind of felt like, well, that gives little bit of an unfair advantage to it. Somebody who's kind of has that extra kind of appeal, I guess, of they're doing something for the community. So we limit it to for-profit businesses. Although if someone has an NPO and they might like to get involved with some design thinking and some of these other programs, we'd be happy to do what we can to assist. But for the business design competition, we felt that the level playing field of all competitors being for-profit businesses was what was fair.
Which is the basis of a capitalist sort of market economy. And the other word I line in it was design, and then of course competition, because we just come off the World Cup, and that was not a social game. I mean, that was competition.
Oh, fierce.
We're still reeling as to which game was the best, but we'll have to talk about that for a long time. So tell us about the business design competition in particular. I mean, what are we looking for?
Sure. Well, so this is year 3, and it's evolved through the years as we've gone, and actually this year there's going to be a new format. It's still the same basic idea, but a little bit of a changed format because we now have an incubator as well that runs separately. We just completed our launch labs, our first launch labs incubator. So what we've done is we've taken a look at the business design competition program, and we've focused it. We've decided that we need to focus it on the development of the idea and some of the kind of more advanced things that properly belong in an incubator. We'll leave those for when the businesses transition into the incubator. But initially, the business design competition will be all about what is the problem you're trying to solve, what is your proposed solution to the problem, and then figuring out does it work, and literally just getting to that phase. Getting through that initial phase and starting to worry about some of the other kind of advanced things like how do I set up a company, and profitability projections and all that sort of stuff. First thing, do I have a good idea? Does it solve an important problem? And can I turn this into something? So as far as the new format. We've split it into 2 design days. I'll start by saying 10 projects will apply and 10 projects will be accepted into the program, and there will be 2 design days, the first one being on the 25th of February, and then a follow-up 2 weeks later on the 11th of March, and then followed by the actual pitch competition on the 1st of April. The 2 design days will be there, as I said before. They'll be focused on developing your idea. So design thinking workshops, that are the purpose of which are to help you, advance your idea to the point where you can stand on a stage in front of a panel and make your case, and they will let you know. Sometimes in not too blunt terms, but sometimes in fairly blunt terms, whether the idea is a good one or not. Say in defense of that, I'll say that you want to know. Before you invest a lot of time and money in trying to develop an idea, getting expert feedback from a panel of experts to say, this is something you should pursue, or maybe you should pivot, maybe you should change your idea a little bit and focus it in a little bit of a different way, and then we think you have something. You want to know that at an early stage. Because obviously you can invest a lot of time and a lot of money in what you might think is an excellent idea, or that you might think solves an important problem, but you might be the only one who thinks that. So I think that there's that's a big part of what the business design competition does for projects.
I mean, the idea that you have might be a good one. But what is your presentation, your timeline? There are things that you probably haven't thought of that might just need that tweaking, and to get that that objective, sort of feedback. I like Charlie's words, in a blunt way. Sometimes it's what we need. That swift kick to keep us focused.
Yeah, I mean, if you you can. The last thing you really need as a project is for somebody to kind of not think your idea is that good, but tell you that it is, and then you spend the next few years of your life and a lot of your available capital in pursuing something that if someone was honest with you in the beginning, you may have either decided, okay, well let me come up with something different, or it's a bit of a cliche, but pivot. And that's an important part of the feedback that projects get as well. They don't just get nope, sorry, that's not a good idea. The panel actually last year, and I'm sure they'll do it again this year. They had follow-up meetings with the projects to say, here are some things that here are the particular things that we liked. Here are the things that we didn't like. Here are some thoughts about how you might improve your project. You might pivot and refocus, or either refocus the solution or refocus the solution that you have on a slightly different problem. So the end goal of it is for the projects that come through the program to get something very valuable and very useful out of it. Not just a fun experience and some less than useful advice, shall we call it. It's to help people who are serious about their projects figure out how do they advance it, and sometimes that might mean how do I change it a little bit.
And Peter, as we listen to Charlie, recognizing often that here's an idea that someone has. For them, it's their baby, and there's that very involved emotional connection. And it's a good idea. Of course it is. But there are other things that they're not considering.
Yeah, I mean, to have that ownership of your idea is just part of the problem. You need to understand how that problem relates to other people. The way I like to think of it, and certainly for this business design competition, is that everybody here in Cayman can relate to having a problem that they could overcome with an idea. Everybody's got something out there that says something could be done better this way. And that's what this competition is all about. It's that ideate stage where you're just basically evolving the idea a little bit. And by entering the competition, you'll be given a support network of mentors who will help you guide you through those first steps of your project. They'll also give you some guidance on things like some finance advice, on how to manage that, how to do some project management activities to improve and evolve your idea. And as Charlie was saying, perhaps, and quite often the case, your idea as you originally conceived it isn't necessarily the right direction, and how to pivot and amend that idea. But it's still your idea, and that's one of the key things of this competition is they retain ownership of their ideas. We're here to enable and support entrepreneurship in the Cayman Islands. And it's a competition as well, so it's a bit of fun.
And sometimes competition is what enhances, the outcome. You recognize that some people, if they don't have a timeline, they don't have something that they're competing against, they just go along, and there's really not sufficient motivation and drive, and this helps.
Well, yeah, I think one of the I guess the great tragedies that could come out of having a great idea and not being challenged to develop it is that it goes nowhere, and you always wonder, what would have happened if I developed this I think it could have been something really important. Well, the competition gives you the opportunity to develop that idea to the point that you figure out, is this good? Is this not good? And if it is good, then the support that CC offers to developing projects, it doesn't end there. I mentioned earlier that we've added an incubator called our Launch Labs Incubator. And one of the reasons why we redid the format of the business design competition this year was to position projects to enter the incubator, which is then where that's where you progress from the idea phase, and you start putting together your business plan and your go-to-market strategies and that sort of thing. With the incubator, ultimately, the goal is to get projects to investment-ready status. So that 3-month program, 24 modules delivered, once a week, mentor support and all of this sort of thing. It's designed to take people from that idea stage all the way through to where they can, participate in a pitch showcase to an angel investment group, and now you have a viable launched business that is, when you first got involved with the business design competition, was just kind of something in your head.
Yeah.
And so that's the very important thing that we've done this year is tied. It's like I said, redone the format for the business design competition so that it ties into the Launch Labs program, the incubator program, and ties into an angel investor pitch showcase at the end of that. Really, the life cycle of idea to market.
When you come back from this quick break, could we ask maybe what sort of other projects, not only those that have been sort of awarded at the end of the day, but even have applied, get an idea so that people can see it's wide-ranging, and your idea is one worthy of consideration. You just need to take advantage of the opportunity. So we can talk about that maybe a bit more,
of course,
and remind our listeners of the dates to apply, the deadlines, because this year is almost over. All right, stay tuned for Talk Today.
They say variety is the spice of life, and that's why at Subway we're introducing the new boneless hot sub. Say what? The premium sub brings new ingredients like spicy breaded boneless chicken, French's crispy fried onions, and buffalo wing sauce, bringing a zesty and flavorful experience with every bite. Add some of your favorite veggies, cheese, and ranch sauce of your choice of freshly baked bread for the ultimate boneless hot sub. For a little spice in your life, try the new boneless hot sub from Subway.
So good and tasty.
And make it a meal with a drink and chips or cookies. Subway. Eat fresh.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab.
For a full range of medical services, pleasant, clean and comfortable environment, no long lines and affordable fees, visit MedLab at the Smith Road Plaza. Open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and half day on Saturdays. Call 949-7331 to make your appointment.
For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
The MedLab family would like to wish the entire Cayman Islands community a very Merry Christmas.
Busy, busy, busy. Feel like there's not just enough hours in the day. Savannah Pharmacy, service to make your life easier. Now you can WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. And pickup is just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. Savannah Pharmacy, wholesome values with modern conveniences.
Ho, ho, ho! Hi, kids! Santa here, letting you know that I can't wait to see you all again at my grotto at Bayshore Mall. I will be there with my friends from Kirk Freeport from Monday the 19th December until Friday 23rd. I will be there between 3 and 7 p.m. every day, except Friday, where I will be there earlier between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. Along with sweet treats, Santa will have a special gift for every boy and girl this year. Merry Christmas! See you soon at Bayshore Mall. Love, Santa and everyone at Kirk Freeport.
The Butcher Shop at Rankin's Farm is ready to stock your kitchen this holiday season with delicious fresh local meats, beef, goat, and pork available now and cut to order. And they have you covered with fresh produce, hot and seasoned peppers, tomatoes, and scallions straight from Rankin's Farm. The Butcher Shop at Rankin's Farm is located at 3032 Shamrock Road by Rankin's Jerk. Open Monday to Saturday, 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call 924-4584. Make it a happy holiday season with The Butcher Shop at Rankin's Farm.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling DWAYNE EBANKS.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And of course, you ever have a question, you want to pose a comment, I just want to contribute. Hey, 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255. as we go into Christmas and celebrate with all the festivities. I'm always glad to have the excellent company of Mr. Charlie Kirkland, the CEO at Cayman Enterprises today, and joined by his VP for public engagement, Mr. Peter Riley. The idea, though, that you have a business design competition, an emphasis in mind. There's so much promise and potential within this market. A lot of entrepreneurial skill, and people oftentimes let that idea just sit there, and eventually they have that regret, as Peter shared. But you offer an opportunity for those people who want to test their mettle.
Mm-hmm.
And I was curious as we were going into the break to ask, what sort of projects, the successful ones that you have sort of won, but others that may have come on board over, this is the third year, right? So
this is the third year.
Give us a little insight into some past projects.
Okay, so the winner last year was a tech-based product. George Pachupe, emailchaser.io, he created this product where it could find email addresses for people that weren't for emails that weren't publicly available, which is really useful if you're trying to find a decision maker in a company. So he created this technical product, and that was the winner last year. Someone else had an industrial design type product, a secret to safety, based on some of the attacks that had happened, like people targeting women that were out jogging. So she created this self-defense product for women, and this was like a product that we all thought was like a great idea, and it won the Creativity Awards. And I know that the person involved, Lakeisha Mason, is continuing to develop this product. We also had ones that were social hub for volunteers and stakeholders in that sort of like sphere of volunteering in the Cayman Islands. So just giving it those first three projects there. We've got one that's like designing a brand new physical product, someone else who's designing a website-based product, and someone else who's creating a service-type product, which is trying to create a community of volunteers. So there's no limit to the idea and where it can be and what particular sectors it comes into. The idea is judged on the merit of the idea itself. Is that a good idea? We want to hear about it. We'll support you.
Charlie, to you, something I was just thinking of, and please allow me just to share the thought process out loudly. First and foremost, as a compliment to you and the team, we live in a, relatively speaking, small market, physically, in terms of the geographical size, but also the population. We see similar things like this in larger, more industrialized nations, where not only are there more people competing for these, but the sponsorship is from larger companies, governments in particular. You're being very innovative over at Cayman Enterprises today and facilitating this so that almost anybody can make a presentation. And when we think of other jurisdictions where the tens of millions of people, for instance, most people wouldn't even know it exists, wouldn't have an opportunity to be considered. But here it's magnified, it's invited, and it's just commendable. I really think it's admirable, this opportunity that's been afforded to the local sort of entrepreneurs within our sector.
Yeah, well, thank you. I mean, it's an important part of what we do. One of the main things that the government was seeking when it greenlighted our project was knowledge transfer. And I should point out that in our business design competition, in our incubator program, everyone's a volunteer. And the people are experts in certain things, and they give up some of their time to come and spend time with local projects that are potentially moving forward, but need the benefit of some expert advice, some expert assistance, some expert guidance, and that's the knowledge transfer. And so the opportunity to support businesses in their development is an important part of what we do. But the knowledge transfer from the special economic zone into the local economy is a very, very important part of our mission also.
And I think what it does well too is that it shows, just from the outsider looking in, that if you're living and working here, you can not only benefit and contribute, but then you become integrated into what's happening. And it's hopefully another testament to the attempt to unify our communities, from the business sector to the individuals who volunteer, to the individuals who are innovative. It makes us, better.
Yeah. Well, I mean, back to your original point about our size can be a disadvantage, but it's an advantage in some very, very important ways. And perhaps most importantly, in accessibility, accessibility to programs and accessibility to subject matter experts who are interested and motivated to help you with your idea.
We hear often about the big fish, small pond, small fish, big pond. Whether we see us as big fish or not, it's a small pond, and it's easier to be, identified. If that's a positive identification, then it's truly beneficial, right, Peter?
Well, yeah, I mean, this analogy of the small pond, though, I mean, Cayman can be a really good test bed for new ideas.
Yes.
But your idea doesn't have to be limited to just the islands. You can look internationally.
Yeah.
Think globally, with your idea, and we'll try and support and encourage that as we can.
Yeah. Actually, if I may just jump in quickly about this, and a very important part of the criteria, something that the judges are looking for, is scalability. So the projects that have global aspirations, potential global reach, those are the ones that the panelists, the judges are most interested in, and whether at the application stage or at the competition final stage, and just kind of a little bit of I wouldn't say word of warning, but kind of just something for people to be aware of is that is a very significant part of the admissions and judging criteria is a local, given the size of our community, a local problem that is solved by a local solution. What entrance and the projects need to kind of take a look at, and this will be important when it comes time to take on investors and so on, is how do I make this scalable, bigger than just solving a local problem. If it solves a problem locally, then maybe it solves a problem regionally. Maybe it solves a problem globally. So we invite projects to open their minds, think a little bit bigger than maybe just a small local problem. Maybe this is a universal problem. Maybe you have a universal solution, and make that part of your application, and also part of your pitch.
And to Peter's point, even though that small pond, so to speak, it's a good way to get the nurturing, the incubation, get the guidance, because it's one-to-one. Other places it's challenging,
Yeah, very, very difficult to test a product in and very expensive to test a product in a large place. But we have a reasonably closed economy, if you will, sophisticated, and kind of interested in innovation and ideas. So I fully agree that this is a perfect test bed for a project or a service, and then is it scalable from there?
Well, I'm hoping that people will see the continuing benefit of what is being offered at CEC, but equally the opportunities and the internship through the design competition alone. Now I know we're closing out the year almost, but time, doesn't wait for anybody. So, Peter, we got some deadlines to consider to apply and the like.
Yes, so we've got two important deadlines to consider. So if you want to be an entrepreneur and work for yourself and set up your own company, going on to the enterprisecayman.ky website, look for the business design competition and submit your application by the 31st of January 2023. And that'll be you in the competition with a chance to win the big prize. If you want to get an internship, develop yourself, your career possibilities and prospects, same website, enterprisecayman.ky, and the deadline to apply is the 11th of April 2023. In both cases, we encourage you to do it as soon as possible.
Waste not, want not. Charlie, again, thank you to you and the team. But as you leave us for today, we're looking forward to us next year. Hopefully join us some more. Any parting words you may want to?
Just to invite anybody who might be interested, whether in an internship or in the business design competition, to please apply. We'd love to hear from you, and we'd love to support you, whether it's in your beginning pursuit of a career, or in the proving out of your idea, leading to the launch of a successful new business.
Well, thank you both very much, and for the continued work. And I'm hoping that as a community we see the importance of that, nurturing the entrepreneurial spirit, but also upskilling ourselves and potential taking internships that are available, understanding that as we grow and go, we also do much for our economy as we do for individuals. So thanks very much. All right.
All right. Thank you. Merry Christmas to everyone.
Merry Christmas. Should we sing it in closing out? Come on, Peter, you and I. Merry Christmas. Just Merry Christmas. Come on, we can do it. Come on. 1, 2, 3. Come on, Peter. And debuting live here on Radio Cayman.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
There you go. Such a sonnet. All right, let's pause and take that break. When we come back, more talk today.
Radio Cayman,
the voice,
the heart,
the soul of the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
I'm April Cummings with your latest news. It should be wheels down just about now for world champion swimmer Jordan Crooks, arriving home after his incredible achievement in Melbourne, Australia this weekend. Crooks took the gold in the men's 50 freestyle with a time of 20.31 at the 16th FINA World Swimming Championships. In international headlines, a flight from Phoenix to Honolulu carrying a number of people traveling for the holidays encountered severe turbulence just before landing, sending some unrestrained people and objects flying about the cabin, seriously injuring 11 of them. Jim Ireland, the director of Honolulu Emergency Medical Services, says in all 36 people received medical treatment following Sunday's turbulent Hawaiian Airlines flight for bumps, bruises, cuts, and nausea. Millions of Twitter users asked Elon Musk to step down as the head of Twitter in a poll on the platform that the billionaire had created and promised to abide by. When the poll closed today, however, it was not clear whether there will actually be a new leader for the social media platform. The billionaire Tesla CEO Musk had attended the World Cup final Sunday in Qatar, where he opened the poll. After it closed 12 hours later, there was no immediate announcement for Twitter or Musk, who may be mid-flight on his way back to the U.S. Those are your headlines. I'm April Cummings.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Born in Watering Place, Cayman Brac, on the 8th day of July 1936, Captain Fred Elman Scott was the 5th child born to Nalio and Vera Scott. Captain Scott was a quiet-natured child who liked going on the bluff with his grandfather Oscar Brown, swimming every Saturday evening and playing cricket down where Miss Alamay's house sits now. He was very studious at Creek Elementary School and did very well under the tutelage of his favorite teacher, Miss Isley Connolly in BE. Following the tragic death of his father at sea, at age 14 he left school to work with Arnold Foster to support his family. In 1953 he joined his first ship, the Beretta, a local cargo vessel, signing on as deck boy, working his way up to boatswain. From 1953 until 2006, some 52 years, Captain Scott made his living working off the seas.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Explore your history, explore your land. Explore your Sister Islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your Sister Islands.
Discover all that our Sister Islands have to offer.
Talk today. but I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right from EBANKS.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us. And, to the wonderful team who are celebrating and enjoying it. And if we could say to Miss Charlene, thank you so much for sharing the Christmas joy with us. And it's going to be open line. We had initially, tentatively, we should say, offered up a segment to a few of our, potential guests to join us. But, Christmas being what it is, everybody's being where they are. People are enjoying themselves. So as I stand here, Paul's going to say, you know what? It's not Susan you're looking at, but it's still okay. He has the beard of the Santa, with the tan of, perhaps the Rock. So we'll see what we do. But give us a call and share your thoughts with us. I had thought to do as we had done many moons ago, have some fun with some trivia, but maybe let's reverse it this time. Instead of me asking you fun-filled facts of trivia, you can, offer up each other and we can see how we can engage and have some fun as we go about the day. I can share with you that with such a beautiful day as it is today, many of us would probably prefer to be perhaps exactly where we are, whether it's at work or that's on vacation, whether that is, polishing a boat hull and getting ready to splash, or whether that is, restarting a particular, tradition that may have had to go on hiatus because of the intervening, events of what it feels like more than 2 years. Perhaps, as I joke and say, 2 centuries. So, I invite you to do a number of things. Share with us your concerns, perhaps your well wishes. I always believe in being as positive and as optimistic, but recognizing that reality prevails. Much as we may close our eyes and stick our heads in the sand, it still doesn't mean that there are others out there trying to frighten us with the boogeyman. But we can still prevail and persevere, and through that dogged determination, and demonstrate sincere, persistence to ensure the outcomes are as positive always as possible. So, share with us your greatest fears and or your greatest sort of joys. Share with us a joke if you wish, or you may want a positive riddle, and see if Paul and the rest of us can answer it. I think he looks like he would be a good trivia master. Right, Mr. Carl? Yeah, he said yeah. He's up for the game, up for the challenge. 8949-8037. 1-800-534-TALK is that floor toll-free call. 1-800-534-8255. Or you can WhatsApp 925-3261 and we'll engage you. I had a very wonderful discussion earlier with someone. And it reminded me as she was sharing that, life is about embracing what's before you. There's no sense in, procrastinating. Not even sometimes when it's, as I call it, positive procrastination. You're deliberately just taking a breath and looking at something and considering what if. Now, we know that, no man is promised tomorrow. Women, on the other hand, might be promised even next week and, the decades to come. But, again, an attempt at a little bit of humor. You can tell me how that works. But given that we don't know what unfolds before us, is it that we should embrace the moment? And especially this time of year when, one of our wonderful, loyal, lovely listeners share with us, Mr. Carl, as he tastes the cassava cake and says, man, that's good. It's that love, that joy that we get from giving, because we see how it fills people's hearts. And if it's food, yeah, even their stomachs. Let's go to the phones. Welcome, good afternoon, thank you for calling.
Good afternoon, young man.
Gentlemen, how are you, sir?
Very well for a young old fella.
Well, it's always good to have the company of good people and the counsel of the elders, So thank you for sharing with us, sir.
Well, all I want to share is I'm going to wish you and Paul and all the rest there at Radio Cayman and the whole of the Cayman Islands, including Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, all the best for the season. Merry Christmas and a happy and prosperous and sober New Year.
Amen. And thank you for that too. And thank you for including the bracket that came on, because as you remind us publicly now, every bracket that came on, but never came on as a bracket. So, we appreciate being a part of the fold in the family.
As the Jamaicans would say, me is all boat.
Yeah. It's interesting how we have similar sayings throughout the region. All of we, some of our friends would say. And all of we, yeah. But that's the beautiful part, and I'm hopeful though and prayerful that as we go into the new year, as we celebrate, over this Christmas and into the, the new year, that we start to maybe, and you guide me, because I don't want to say it that anybody take it out of context or feel, offended. But I want us to just to consider and deliberately set about trying to find ways to come together as one. That sense of unity, that strength that we find in the community, the notion that sometimes we need to step to our brother and say, you're the line, and hold them accountable, but guide them, nurture them, and extend, that sense that if we don't do it properly, not only will it be undone, but it may be a negative consequence that is unnecessary. And what do you think? Is that too much of a lofty prayer to have for?
No, not at all, Sterling. I think what has happened is happening all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
People are born without hearts nowadays. I mean, they have no compassion. And most of the people who are professed Christians, they're not really truly Christians. They have bad hearts. I mean, that's my opinion. But we entertain people here, and people only come here for one reason. That's money. Mm-hmm. I mean, I go about my business, and the way that people drive alone.
Mm-hmm.
And, I've had people drive with me, and they say, "Oh, that's a so and so. That's a so and so," and it's very true.
So it's interesting. Yeah. We can identify that, right?
The trivia that you wanted to find out.
Yes.
I want to know if you were listening to the or if you saw the final of the World Cup yesterday.
Thank God I was able to watch it, and my only sort of regret is that more of us didn't assemble to watch it together, because it's one of those events where I think it's more fun, where you sit with family and friends and you have not just the feast and the festivity, but you're able to enjoy the fun. So I did get to see it, yes.
But I was at a meeting. Every Sunday I have a meeting out in Northside.
Northside, yes, sir.
But I rushed home just in time to see the final couple of minutes, and then they shoot out.
Yeah.
And trust me, I'm not normally a nervous person, but boy, I was nervous yesterday, because Messi was, to me, he's the best guy in the world. I prefer him to all the rest.
Mm-hmm.
And this young fella, Mbappe, he's a good guy, but he has another chance or two. But Messi doesn't have any more chances. And I prayed very fervently to Almighty God to please let them win. And they did.
Yeah.
God answered my prayer,
Yeah, I think you and all of Argentina, they prayed to not only our God, but they also prayed to theirs as well, the football god of Maradona. But it's interesting that you mentioned the French player. I remember when I first saw him, skill is definitely there. He seems to have developed a sense of somewhat patience.
I was seeing a comparison this morning on WhatsApp, or not WhatsApp, on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And they say that, you remember Henry that used to play for, I think he played for France too.
Henry, yeah.
Henry, yeah. Henry, or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
They said that he was actually faster than Mbappe.
Yeah.
And it's hard to believe, because Mbappe, there's nobody quite like him except Messi.
But it's interesting, right? I love football. I think it's the best sport, because no matter what age you can play it, no matter if you're male and female and you want to have a co-ed game.
Come the next World Cup, Messi will be all of 39, I think. And
39.
that's
41.
That's a bit too much.
Yeah, 41. I was thinking maybe my math is somewhere around that age.
Every 4 years they have a World Cup.
Yeah, unless they do like our government have it early. I just kidding. No, every 4 years, yeah.
Well, he's 35 now, so he'll be 39.
35. Okay. I was thinking 37 for some reason.
I think Ronaldo is 37.
Oh, okay.
But to me, I mean, Ronaldo is good and all that, but Messi is for morning. Although people say for morning, me there with him, you know.
But who do you think to date, right, and as far back as you wish to go, is the best football player, bar none? I mean, who do you think? Oh.
When I was playing football, I thought I was the best. But
see, there you go.
That's a long time ago. I used to play American football.
Yeah.
I'm kind of suffering for it now because I have a bad knee, and that's what the doctors say cause it. But anyway, I'm happy that I played because that's my favorite sport. But
yeah,
you can't compare to Pele, man. Pele was the greatest.
Before they did it, Pele was there, and he will forever be. And I think I'm glad you said that.
He's almost immortal, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and the thing is, you know, like I watch Mbappe, probably like the first time I watched him, however many years ago, and he looked young and spoiled.
He is young.
Yeah, but spoiled, you know.
Well, you know what happened to him? He comes from a poor family, and his father couldn't afford to pay the fee that he could go to train to be a footballer. So I forget how that story went, but anyway, he finally made it, and you know, it's just like Ronaldo. Everybody says, well, "Why is your mother staying with you?" My mother, sir, she did everything for me. She sacrificed so much for me to learn to play. So, you know, it's just like people here. I mean, my parents are both dead. My wife died, but I looked after all of them. I mean, that's how I was brought up, to take care of the seniors in your family.
But it's not what you do.
These people don't even. I don't know.
Yeah, and you're making such excellent points as usual, right? So you take Mbappe, and you know what seems to be just my observation. He exercising a level of self-control in the field, you know, containing whatever frustrations that may come in a high-level competition, right? Ronaldo, as you shared, he's publicly saying, hey, this is my mother. And now, whether it's because of his ethos, his Christian ethos, you know, honor their mother and their father, but should not a community look with reverence and respect to its parents and do for them, right? Isn't it amazing how he's castigated for that? You know, oh, you're a mama's boy, you're this or that, when he is just doing what I think should happen, right?
My poor mother died, but I tell you, I must have been a mama's boy, because both, you know, all three of me and my two brothers and my sister, we were mama's and daddy's children. I mean,
exactly.
They showed us, not every day that daddy was at home from being a captain on the ship, that he would say, oh, my firstborn, I love you. But he showed it in all other ways. I mean, when I was 10 years old, I never forget it, he brought home for me a BB gun. Those days, it was no restriction. Let me tell you, I became a marksman with that BB gun, and it went on to when I was a cadet going to high school in Jamaica. And, you know, it's amazing. Just these little things that occur, that it makes you a better person, because you realize that people are doing for you what you really couldn't do for yourself. And doing that for you through them.
Right. And they draw alongside you as parents to nurture you. You don't need to get gifts or to hear words. You see it in their actions. You feel it in their interaction. So you know that there's love, that there's nurturing. And
you know, Mama, you always said to me and my brothers and my sisters, say, don't give me roses when I'm dead. Give me them while I'm still alive.
Yeah, that's
a true saying. You know?
Yeah, like right now. I mean, you know, we have an opportunity to give gifts, for want of a better word, and there's an expectation that you're going to give, an expectation that you're going to receive. But are we stopping to reflect on how we're giving? Not only what we're giving, but how. That sense of love. You may bake a cassava cake and share a slice with someone, or you may make a large one and give to them. You may, in my mind, do the best thing. Step aside and share a meal with somebody. Give of your time, right? Open up your table. Now, for many of us, it's all lip service. And for some of us, it's the position that we occupy, which somehow we believe imbues us with this sense of authority. That fake smile.
Thank God, even at my age, I remain humble and I'm the same today as I was 50 years ago.
Maybe a little taller.
No, I'm a little shorter because as you get older, you lose your height. But I have always been a community-minded person. Even when I lived in Jamaica, I was a founder member of the St. Andrew JCs. And then I came here and they became defunct, and I joined Lions, and I became president and zone chairman, and I joined other organizations. And I've always been community-minded.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How can I live in a country or in any community and make a living, live a good life, God willing, and not give back something to that community? I mean, I
need to contribute, right?
You see it every day. These people that come and I remember, I think it was last year, we were down by me and a couple other people were trying to sell the calendars to the seafarers. And there was this white guy. He comes across in a truck and says, "Get out of the way, you're holding up the traffic." And let me tell you, I lost it that morning with him, because when I told him from Jamaica expression that I'm sure that he didn't even understand. I mean, how ungrateful can you be? Here you are, a construction person and making all kind of money, and then you don't even have the heart to say stop and buy a $10 ticket just to support a non-profit organization. It's pathetic, man.
What do you think is the reason to sort of drive in that seemingly very, very increasingly evident behavior in our society, where
it's all greed, man. Greed. Everybody lives to get that dollar, And I suspect that well, I shouldn't even say this, but I mean, we should not have all of these cars coming in. Every week there's 300 cars coming in, and then one wonders how you can get from point A to point B unless you spend 3 hours on the road.
But
there has to be a limit to something.
But the question is, right?
Doesn't seem to think that way. Every time it comes before them, they defeat it. So I don't know.
Are we unwilling to acknowledge that many of the issues that we're facing today are worse because we ignored them back then?
I'm sure.
And
even the traffic situation. I mean, 25 years ago, Linford Pearson had a solution, or what he thought was a solution, and they just didn't pay it in the mind. Now, if they had did what he had suggested from 25 years ago, we wouldn't have this problem now.
But again,
every year it becomes more evident that what you do today is either beneficial or non-beneficial in 10 years' time.
Yeah, but Mr. Dennis,
to determine that.
Yeah. When we look at some of the issues, it would seem that many of us have either heard the complaint about the issues, or we ourselves may have voiced them to, publicly, or to people that we think, would be in a position to, if not address them, at least acknowledge. But we keep kicking the can down the road. How do we stop that? How do we, do something positive and constructive that is going to be meaningful, impactful, and not just
I think what has to happen, Dwayne, is that people in power has to exercise that power, not just be there for a paycheck. If people don't like you for what you do, but it's going to help the country, then go ahead and do it. Forget about what people think about you. But everybody, as you know, I ran some years ago. But I was disappointed. But in retrospect, right now, I'm really glad that God saw fit not to put me up there. Because with my temperament, I could not put up with the bull crap that I hear and see happening, you know?
Mm-hmm. But is that part of the problem? That we see, hear, feel, and oftentimes are impacted by the inaction or the improper action at that time, and we do nothing about it. You just said something. The people in power, should do something when they exercise that power. Can I ask two questions? Who do you see as the people in power?
How do I see them?
No, yeah. Who is it when you refer to people in power? Who are you referring to? Put it straight up.
I'm talking about the government.
Those that we elect?
Exactly.
What about those we appoint? So, senior civil servants.
That's even worse.
Board.
Just taking tails out of school, but I was recently asked to take up the chairmanship for the. Or maybe I shouldn't say that.
Yeah.
It's not something that I should say.
Okay.
But the reason that the Parliament gave for me not getting it is ludicrous. I mean, it's totally different from what it's supposed to be.
Right.
Now, I hope whoever eventually gets it, being chairman of a place of an organization like the housing scheme, that is somebody who will exercise good thinking and sound knowledge and be honest in what they do.
Right. But
in other words, you can't please these people because they have their favorites or whatever. I don't know what.
So let me then ask, right? Sorry to interject. Let me ask. We always seem, as you have done, as many of us do, the people in power, and we refer to the politicians. I said, okay, those appointed, not just senior civil servants, board chair, and the like, all those appointments, right? Across the board in any facet, public, private sector, judiciary. But let me ask a question. In a democracy, in a civil society, as we're supposed to have, where people are sensible and reasonable, do you not think that the ultimate power, is in the hands of us as voters?
Well, the ultimate power, sure. A government is for the people, of the people, and all. It's supposed to be the people. But if the government that you choose to elect, if they don't do what you say as the people who, because basically they're hired by us.
Okay.
But in this country, it doesn't allow us to say what. Well, I don't know if it doesn't allow it. It certainly does allow it, but nobody wants to say anything.
Okay, so why is that?
Well, because we live in a world that revolves around dictatorship and all that kind of thing. I mean, I had occasion. I have a very good friend who is a Republican. I think like a Democrat. And he down swears me that Trump never told a lie in his life. I mean, how can sensible people think that? Every word that comes out of the man's mouth is a lie. And it's the same way with government. I mean, I've had the occasion, very recently, to try to engage all of the MPs to sell tickets for the recent and the annual thing that we have for Christmas. Every year it becomes harder and harder, man. Let me tell you, harder and harder. Every time you say, "Oh yeah, I get here next week." Come on, man! Don't tell me that you cannot find time for such an organization like the Seafarers, people who sacrifice their lives to make life better for you in 2022. That is totally unacceptable, and I don't. Now, if God spares my life next year, when it comes around, I'm not going to even try to involve those people because they have no intention of doing it. All they're interested in is the money that they get. I'm reliably informed that each politician gets X amount of dollars to have an office. How many of them have an office?
And is there, it's just a general question, right? So if it's offends some, well, call me and I can apologize.
By the way, I would call to wish the whole Cayman Islands happy Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, but
yeah,
I like to talk, so you're asking the question and I'm trying to answer.
Yeah, thank you. And this is, what makes, I think, a society healthy, when we have people who are willing to talk, ask questions, engage. When, if you would allow me to say, when people like you, not only because of the civic roles that you play, but the fact that you live and work amongst us, and you're impacted by society as the things in society impact you. If we share our experiences, if we share our concerns, if we, help to celebrate, some of the...
That's the way life's supposed to be.
Yes, sir.
We share and observe, and we ask questions, and we seek the correct answers.
Right.
But does life work that way? No.
But again, though, if we are accepting that in some other totalitarian regime, however you assign a label to it, communism, dictatorship, or this or that, and that those over there are the ones who call the shots. And if we are in a democracy where seemingly there are certain freedoms, corresponding rights and responsibilities, nonetheless, if we don't step up, speak up, and engage, then we're probably worse as a result. So to your point, right, if it is us in this democracy, we're not talking about anywhere else, and we're unwilling to question certain things, advocate for something or against something, but to engage ourselves, to get involved and informed, then what do we expect to happen? I mean, surely those who are in the power, whether they're elected or otherwise, if nobody's asking questions about why they're doing something or not doing it, or why they're doing it that way or not this way, they may decide, well, in the absence of any sort of quote unquote protests, they might be okay to do that.
Well, I think you're bordering now on your thoughts. You're thinking about protests, and unfortunately, protests are the only way that you get things changed.
Okay, I'm glad you picked up on that, right? I use that word deliberately because most of us will see protests as a physical demonstration in the streets and the like, right? Placards and signs and the like. Fair enough?
Yeah, but, just take myself, for instance. I mean, everybody who knows me knows very well that I speak my mind, and I'm not always right. I don't purport to be always right. But I always have a thought. I always have a reason for saying things, and cost it what it will. Tradition, national pride, or whatever. It's a thought that my country could be so much better if, and that big IF is always in the way. They always say, "But it's a conjunction." Well, to me, it's a conjunction.
Yeah.
Because if I could only do this, if I only looked at that, if the premier only said this, if the governor only said that, I had the privilege of being entertained by the governor and Mrs. Roper on the 7th of December. Not only me, but I mean, I think it was 130 of us there. And it was so refreshing to see how they mingled with any and everybody who were there. And one would have thought that Lizzie, as he calls her, Elizabeth, she, one would have said, "Oh, she stuck up on her." No. She was there with all of the ladies. I mean, it's just unbelievable.
Remarkable lady.
And then I said to him, "Why wouldn't they extend your contract?" And he said, "Dennis, we don't want to go there." I said, "Okay." I didn't ask him that again. But, it's, oh my goodness.
You see, I would try to joke and say if they extend his contract, that means then it's a longer time before I take over as governor. So, no, but you know,
well,
yeah.
I read a recent issue of the Compass that we're going to have a lady as governor.
Yes,
again,
Mrs. DWAYNE. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man.
Well, I wish her all the best.
Well,
but I certainly became very close to the present governor.
Mm-hmm.
He has extended to the seafarers. You know, I even made him on my council. Charities the council and say, yeah, we'll make him an honorary member.
Yep.
Gave him a T-shirt and all that, and he really loves the fact that, you know, the seafarers played such a pivotal role in the early days.
Yeah.
You know?
And I'm glad that you acknowledge that and you know, his public recognition. And I think the Saturday before last, the West Bay Beautification Committee, you know, and the wider ladies in the community, supported by, they would say, some able gentlemen, the evening that they had with the carols and the tree lighting, and His Excellency, the other MPs, and his lovely wife attended. It was such a beautiful community event to sit from a distance and observe.
I heard him on the radio some mornings ago, and he was talking about it.
Yeah, it's and why I emphasize that is that in my sort of initial comments too, I want our society, and this is why I say to the voters specifically, but to the entire community, we have a serious obligation that many of us are reneging. It's incumbent upon us to do everything to ensure that this remains a safe, stable place. And the comments, not just by the Commissioner of Police, but His Excellency shared relative to the increase in crime, the threats to our public safety, the quality of life. We need to do something about that. We can't be asking of the police only. We can't be demanding them to...
The thing about it is that, I mean, if it's my brother, I'm the first one to notify the public about it, because we don't need that.
Yeah. But this is
there's no excuse for it. There's no reason. I mean, I understand, like in Jamaica, the people go to other countries, get the money and send it back. When they are not able to do that, then the children has never learned how to work, and they go and steal. But that's not the case here, you know.
But maybe we ignoring.
It's not even the case like when I was a youngster, my dad went to sea.
Yeah.
We were so glad that he was able to provide for us that we did what Mom said. She was mother and father while he was away.
Well, that is.
It's not like that anymore.
Yeah, that is maybe one of the challenges, Mr. Denson. We're losing that sense of family and the community, and you know, some of the reasons why I ask us to consider certain things. We can't talk about the breakdown of family values if every single one of us in the household, parent and child and everybody, like, in order to make ends meet, you know, we're working constantly.
You know, some of my friends, when their children, well, I'm the father of two daughters, and both of them went to university. Now, there is, one might say, oh, you did this and you did that, and you born with it. No. Every little thing that God allowed me to accomplish in life, I worked for it. And education to me is next to godliness. So my parents were able to give me a good education, and I owed it to my children. They didn't ask to be brought into the world. And so far, one is living in the States, she's a teacher, and the other one is here working at a law firm. But those two daughters are exemplary human beings.
Thank God.
And, you know, thank God. Yeah. And I'm not saying that in every barrel of apples that there might be one or two bad ones, but if they're put on ice or whatever you have to do to preserve them, then they'll all come out good.
Yeah.
It's not a thing that this one is more fortunate than the next one. No.
Well, you put some interesting things on the table. I'm going to ask her this to Wayne. Maybe I'll posit a question or comment. But Mr. Denson, thank you, sir. Hopefully I get a chat with you, not just more on the radio, but hopefully in person.
Me and my daughter here is going up to visit my other daughter and her family. So we leave on Saturday. This week, Saturday, 24th, and come back on the 2nd.
All right.
You guys have a good Christmas, and I hope Santa Claus is good to all of you.
And to you, sir, have a safe trip and a very merry and blessed Christmas.
Okay, my brother, all the very best.
God bless you. All right, let's pause and take that break and pick up on some of the comments Mr. Denson may have shared with us. Maybe we'll want to add or perhaps a few other things or introduce something different. Hey, the call is yours, literally. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. For all occasions and celebrations, let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab. Blood test, x-ray, and mammogram, all of that is MedLab. Affordable fees and friendly service, a full professional team. MedLab is always comfortable, MedLab is always clean. For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
The MedLab family would like to wish the entire Cayman Islands community a very Merry Christmas.
Did you know that ValueMed Pharmacy has a free online prescription service? Managing your health and medical requirements has never been easier with ValueMed. Simply visit value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com and click the Refill Prescriptions tab on our website. Fill in the information for new prescriptions or refills and choose your preferred pickup location. ValueMed on Walkers Road or Town. Then bring in your original prescription from your doctor when picking up. There's no need to stand in line and wait for your prescription. Save time and pick up prescriptions at your convenience by visiting value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Jingle bell, pick up your feet. Christmas shopping at Le Classic cannot be beat. Quality style, luggage and leather, shoes that make you feel like you're walking on feathers. So step on in before stepping out. Come see what your friends are all talking about. We're here at the Strand, it's the season of cheer. Christmas time is here.
Merry Christmas from Le Classique. Come see us in the Strand, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Let me tell you something. I've been fishing our island since I was a boy, and it's getting harder and harder to get a good catch. Maybe it's because there are so many more people in Cayman than ever before. Maybe it's because of how the climate is changing. I don't know about that, but I do know that I want to be able to keep fishing and teach my children to fish one day as well. So it makes sense to me that we have certain areas and certain times of the year to fish for certain things. It feels unfair not to be allowed to fish where my dad taught me to fish, but I know that being patient now means we can keep fishing for many more generations. We're all in this together, right?
For more info, download the Cayman DOE app or visit doe.ky.
Cybercrime happens online or through the technology we use every day.
Anyone can be a victim of cybercrime, whether you are a young person being bullied or harassed online, or an older person or business who's been scammed out of money or personal data. Cybercrime is an issue that touches all of us. The Cayman Islands government has therefore created an online resource to help keep you cyber safe in an ever-changing world.
In online situations, it is better to be cyber safe than sorry. Learn now to protect yourself against cybercrime. Visit gov.ky/cybersafe.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. And thanks very much to all of you, and praying that we'll have a blessed and safe Christmas. Thanks to Miss Charlene again for sharing, from her oven, that wonderful, delicious, heaven cakes. And like many of us, we may have already started. I don't know about you, but for some of us, because of the way we celebrate, and unlike potentially, other jurisdictions, they have strong affinity for the U.S. We engage with family and friends from their Thanksgiving, and that continues in to the new year for many of us, and we just enjoy the festivities. So whether you get a piece of pumpkin, or whether you get a piece of breadfruit, or some cassava, whether you steam it or you just make it into a nice heavy cake, it's all good. So share with us, 949-8037, toll free with the compliments of Flow at 1-800-534-8255, or you can WhatsApp 925-3261 and share with us your thoughts to Mr. Dennison's sort of thoughts and comments earlier. And, it raised a couple of interesting sort of, ideas, and maybe some of us would give it further thought and help to lay certain fears and concerns that some of us may have. Now, as you're out and about, and hopefully you're not experiencing too much excitement from yesterday's games, or you're not become like, I don't want to call names, but a very own Catherine Miller for having, her team exit almost as early as mine. And, some of us didn't do that good in the World Cup. And she comes away with a third place. My team, I'm not even sure they probably was good enough to even qualify this time around, but they exited quite early. But we're celebrating, for those of us who see the game for what it is and enjoy the play. For those of us who are very, very, very connected as fans to our teams, we may not necessarily have that same level of joyfulness today. But I share to ask, as we look at what World Cup could be, the politics aside, the cases of corruption, and all the other things, just as a game, the way it can bring people together. Very, very basic level. You have a wonderful game on a weekend, when people playing just for fun, good exercise, good camaraderie. Or you have the local sort of league, and the community comes out and rallies behind its team, and sometimes it's formalized and the like. It's not just the spirit of competition, it's the camaraderie that emanates from that interaction. Now we can see what it happens when people can come together and share with a common objective and common desires. Could we bring that to bear on most things? To Mr. Dennison's point, the opportunities that are here. He referenced the importance of education that many of our parents instilled in us. Credit my mother for constantly, even to this day, reminding us of how important it is to learn, but to share that knowledge, to get it so you can demonstrate your proficiency and your competence, but to recognize that you always have to be learning, to be engaged. I don't know that she has ever used the phrase, you have to be a lifelong learner. But as Mr. Dennison indicated, did not necessarily hear, your parents say, "I love you," to know that they did. sadly for many of us, we hear those words. Like so many things, we see, the action, and that is much better. The words are empty. Whether it's that whispered to someone or whether it's the promise of someone in authority, it's the action that is important. Now, I'll come back to that in a second if you remind me. But I say that to remind us, what are we doing to bring about that sense of a cooperative spirit, that unification that should be, first and foremost in our minds if we're going to have this healthy, safe, stable society that is appreciative of the contributions of all of us. Now, looking at what's before us, are we ensuring that the educational opportunities that exist are there for all of us? Well, the phone lines are open, and as we get ready to take this call, we'll welcome the rest of you to give us some thought. Share with any of the things we're saying, maybe invite you to perhaps take us down another path because there's something else that you want to speak about. A simple thing that it isn't so simple. The amount of cars that are on our roadways. I want to thank two individuals. One, maybe best described in the hospitality sector and the transportation aspect of it, who has noted that there was a time not long ago we addressed, I call it Raid Gate. I'm not sure if that was what word. I thought he said that road name changed. But the one that takes us between the airport now and comes across the Water Authority and back on to, was that North Sound Way, whatever that road is in Industrial Park. He said he had, like many of the other taxi and tow operators, brought to the attention of the police and the Department of Environment and the tourism personnel that road was littered with a lot of derelict vehicles that are being worked on, perhaps part of, a place out of the way, maybe to some. But because, the increasing tourism numbers again, that road is being used to facilitate a movement from the airport through there. And increasingly, the tourists going, wow, is this a bad area? Is this a landfill in the waiting? And on his behalf, I want to maybe extend an invitation to the requisite authorities to have a look at that. And as we're cleaning up the roads and the byways and the like, that we will look at that road and maybe remove the vehicles where appropriate. But that's how it is. Let's pause. When we come back, more talk today.
Savannah Pharmacy saved my life.
Really? Was it the medication they got you?
No, not this time. I forgot my wife's birthday. They were the perfect place for last-minute shopping.
That's one way to give yourself heart failure. Don't wait last minute for Christmas. Savannah Pharmacy is stocked up for Christmas right now. Gifts for men, women, and children. Home decor, clothes, toys for all ages, fragrances, candles, handbags, and so much more. I was there the other day, and trust me, they'll even wrap all your presents too.
Savannah Pharmacy, a lifesaver in more ways than one.
Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village provides you with more than just prescriptions. Always just around the corner with everything your family needs for this holiday season. WhatsApp your prescription refills to 929-5045.
They say variety is the spice of life. And that's why at Subway, we're introducing the new Boneless Hot Sub.
Say what?
The premium sub brings new ingredients like spicy breaded boneless chicken, French's crispy fried onions, and buffalo wing sauce, bringing a zesty and flavorful experience with every bite. Add some of your favorite veggies, cheese, and ranch sauce of your choice of freshly baked bread for the ultimate boneless hot sub. For a little spice in your life, try the new boneless hot sub from Subway.
So good and tasty.
And make it a meal with a drink and chips or cookies. Subway. Eat fresh.
The Kirk Freeport Christmas Sweepstakes is back again, and for our 50th anniversary, we are giving away $50,000 in cash and prizes. Win one of three $5,000 cash prizes, a daily cash prize of $1,000, the Rolex draw on January 4th, or loads of other great prizes. Every purchase of $100 before noon on Christmas Eve qualifies for all remaining prize draws. Win your share of $50,000 of cash and prizes in the Anniversary Sweepstakes. Full details on KirkFreeport.com. Merry Christmas from everyone at Kirk Freeport.
Planning a holiday party this festive season? Drop into Reflections Liquor for Less and discover the incredible priced better markdowns. Hundreds of fine from $2.99. Cases of ice cold beer below wholesale prices. Save $10 off liters of absolute.
Exclusively at Liquor for Less, enjoy our Big Bubbly blog sale for your New Year's Eve celebration. Fantastic manager specials on your favorite fizz. Prices so low we can't say them on the radio. Liquor for Less, 5 locations from Soundway, Airport Center, North Church Street, Savannah, and Northside are there to serve you. Open 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Monday to Saturday and 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. on Sundays.
Please drink responsibly. No alcohol beers and wine are also available, as well as gift certificates and gift wrapping. Merry Christmas from Reflections Liquor for Less.
The Butcher Shop at Rankin's Farm is ready to stock your kitchen this holiday season with delicious fresh local meats, beef, goat, and pork available now and cut to order. And they have you covered with fresh produce, hot and seasoned peppers, tomatoes, and scallions straight from Rankin's Farm. The Butcher Shop at Rankin's Farm is located at 3032 Shamrock Road by Rankin's Jerk. Open Monday to Saturday, 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call 924-4584. Make it a happy holiday season with The Butcher Shop at Rankin's Farm.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling DWAYNE EBANKS.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for sharing with us. It's open line, and can you believe it? It's Monday now. Despite whatever date that it says on the calendar, I know many of us are furiously trying to get through so we can prepare for our Christmas meal or Christmas program at church. And in sharing that, recognizing how stressful it can be. As much as we're looking forward to the fun and the food and the festivities and the fellowship that comes as a, it's a way to be reminded of why we celebrate. For those of us who have next Monday and Tuesday off because of the prescribed public holidays, it's a reprieve. But then there are those of us who, because of the type of work we do, whether it's hospitality or elsewhere, we're scheduled to be on, so it's just going to be a small interlude, if at all. Some will have to understandably be employed for the rest of us to be able to enjoy. And I shared took a quick message from, I don't think he'll be offended if I call him a friend. And he says, he understands now why, when he was working with me way back when, I had this simple approach to the team. We have our scheduled holidays. There are so many prescribed by law. We believe in the importance of quality time. So some had more than the statutory sort of required days. But despite that, we say to the team, during this time of year, there'll be, without question, the office will close, and we could do that given the practice of the sector, but also the personal sort of mantra of the leadership. And I say he didn't really understand how important that was until years that he's working elsewhere. The challenge is to get time off, but the importance of having that time off. You miss out on not just the children's plays at school, or you're rushed in order to attend certain things. On his behalf, and because I don't need any prompting, let me ask, knowing that in the midst of where we are now and the sort of distracted form we'll find ourselves right now as we're bouncing in and out of the car or half attentively listening at our desk and the like. As we look at what next year will bring for us, and again inspired by Mr. Dennison's earlier comment that there's not a lot of us engaging with each other in a meaningful way because we're busy making ends meet. We're trying to figure out how to keep our jobs, to respond in a proactive, positive way to all the requests that may come across our desk, from the demands of the household to our customers, to our community. And do you think it would be something when we look at our heritage and our history and our traditions that we had, Remember when our fathers and brothers and grandfathers and uncles and everybody came back? It was, for most of them, a very conscious, deliberate attempt to be home for Christmas. It was important. If they had to give up much in order to get that time. Now, they understood that it wasn't always possible. It wasn't that the ship itself was maybe in some far off port and the logistics of getting home, but it was trying to schedule sufficient personnel on the ship to ensure that they continue to move that cargo to where it needed next. But the preference was to get home, and there are some who didn't want to do that simply because they were preoccupied with other things and didn't have all this other sort of commitments that some had when it comes to the desires to be with family. So is there something as we go into this new year that we can do to build and strengthen our communities? Well, give us a thought and share with us when we come back from our news break. Now, stay informed, and when we return, give us a shout and share your thoughts.
To Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
With your latest headlines, I'm April Cummings. Deputy Premier and Minister for Finance, the Honourable Chris Saunders, says government surplus figures are looking good. During Parliament, Minister Saunders told MPs the original budget was just under $941 million, but that had already been met and exceeded. He also notes expenses were lower than budgeted. In international headlines, video game company Epic Games will pay a total of $520 million in penalties and refunds to settle complaints involving children's privacy and methods that tricked players into making purchases. This according to the U.S. Federal Trade Commission, which said today it has secured the record-breaking settlements for 2 cases from Epic Games, Inc., which makes the popular game Fortnite. FTC Chair Linda Kahn said in a statement that Epic used privacy-invasive default settings and deceptive interfaces that tricked Fortnite users, including teenagers and children. The European Union today accused Facebook parent Meta of breaching antitrust rules by distorting competition in the online classified ads business, the bloc's latest maneuver to curb the power of big tech companies. In its complaint following an investigation launched last year, the EU's Executive Commission took issue with the tech company tying its online classified ad business, Facebook Marketplace, to Facebook. It is also concerned that Meta imposes unfair trading conditions on rivals for its own benefit. Meta disputes the allegations. Those are your headlines. I'm April Cummings.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne EBANKS.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks very much. It's interesting. I just looking at the news that someone sent, and then listening to our headlines, and you don't realize sometimes how 30 seconds, unless it's a basketball game, may seem like a very long time. But then listening to the quick sort of headlines and looking at what a friend sent across, was talking about the idea of how we seem to have less and less time for each other and ourselves. And he was saying quickly in his message, better send this to you now, because before you know it, it'll be Christmas and I've forgotten to remind you, and it'll be too late. It's not just an invitation, it's the importance of how we expect more and more technology to replace the human interaction and to make our lives efficient. And it is one thing to say that the technology is because of the intelligence and the application of human initiative, but when that becomes the default and we use that increasingly to replace us, the slave then is the person to this technology. And the fears may or may not be unfounded in terms of, artificial intelligence is coming and, the robots will take over. It's the lack of an active, engaged, community participating in what it is. And, he reminds, as he was saying, that time frame when you deliberately put down your work attire in anticipation and preparation that would happen, so that you can go and for a few days just enjoy family and friends. And as I go into the break, I'll keep asking the question as a tribute to our history and our heritage, to a well-established practice and custom. Should we return to that tradition where from the 22nd, 23rd, 24th on to the 2nd, 3rd, 4th of the new year, that we have what maybe, and as I'm reminded, we already have that now, a national ghost law. And it's deliberate, conscious, so that when people are fellowshipping and they're out partying and they're having great fun, they don't have to face the next day in a less than stellar way. They don't have to rush from one spot to the next, because it's all going to be a continual fete, as it were. Now, that don't necessarily have to translate into an irresponsible, period of drunkenness and sort of social discord. What it could, if we accept the justification for the extended hours way back when to the licensed premises, so that when we know it's closing time, people didn't just rush to finish up their drinks. They know they had, an hour or 2 or 3, just depends on how late the establishment was open. Now that creates in itself significant discussion for some, and for others perhaps an unreasonable expectation as to how it should be managed. But if you're an individual and you know the space is open till midnight, you may say that's just too late for some. Well, by the time we get off work and get changed, get through, we're just ready to go then. But having that freedom, that there is within the time period, that extended siesta, as it were, it may bode well. It may be very akin to the continuing sort of call that we hear from many quarters of deploying a restructured work week, not just the staggered hours so when we report to duty and when we punch the clock to check out for the day, but maybe how many days that we do it. Not possible for every single individual or for every single sector of our economy. And some of those individuals in that sector that is possible for may find that it doesn't work for them for different reasons. But if you have what has been perhaps more readily identified as a 4-day work week, as an example, could that translate into not just increased productivity, but better health and well-being for everybody else, job satisfaction, customer satisfaction, and the like? Again, you're not running around, on your lunch hour or having to make up for that time, because you can only do those things during the workday, despite the argument put forward by many of having technology, businesses being able to do a lot of their transactions online, banking being 24/7. Sometimes you need or you prefer to do something in person or with a person. But even if that's not the case, that day could be your weekly sort of mental health day, especially in this time that we find ourselves with so much stress and so many competing things on our plate. You have that day where doesn't matter if you're conscious to get up early or you very deliberately, casually make a slower start to your day, a day to exercise and meditate, to perhaps pray and deliberately contemplate what lies ahead of you. Perhaps it's a day where you go fishing, the day you tend to your garden. Maybe it's a day that you prep for the week. You don't have to rush into work so much. And it's something that's worth considering. And I share that with you that following something that we said to this in a similar vein earlier this year, a fellow shared with me last evening that he decided to try it. He has the flexibility to do it. He has the authority and the autonomy in his organization to do it. And given that it was sort of almost on a dare, he said, you know what, let's try it. And so for almost the last 3 months, we did it. And strangely, he said the first thing that he encountered that he didn't think would be an issue was the fact that he had to commit to a day. So not just a joke of fair commitment, but to stick to it. So whether it was a Monday or Wednesday or Friday, that day would be his day out of the office. Then he had to be able to structure his life so that the things that he would get people to do or that he would go do on a whim, where appropriate, he would wait to do it on that day just to see how it worked. And he found that to be quite a challenge because you didn't realize how much you seek immediate gratification. You're in the office and you need I hope he doesn't mind, but to many of us who have boats and cars and we know that we're going to work on it this evening and we need something, we'll run out, especially when we have that level of authority and autonomy in our organization. We're just going to run out for a couple of minutes to the hardware store to pick up that thing. And 2-3 hours later, we're coming back in, not to only appreciate the example we may be setting, unwillingly and unknowingly in some cases. If the boss can be gone, for breakfast for 3 hours and come back and then leave for an extended lunch and we wouldn't want to do that. Well, similarly. But he also made him appreciate that, what you think is a quick 15-minute jaunt from the office turns into 2 hours because of traffic and everything else. So having to make that adjustment and discipline himself that he's not going to do those things until this day, he has that whole day set aside for that. He can choose. Then the other thing he discovered is that getting up and not having to do anything on that day in terms of work commitments was a bit of a challenge. Made him think about those who retire. If they don't have something on their day every day, what sense of they're feeling, a sense of value and worth, contribution, are they still feeling as if they're somebody and appreciated and wanted and the like. But then the third thing he said he didn't expect it to take so long to occur was once he got into it, that he values that day off, so he could plan extended breakfasts or lunches. He could take a trip. He could maybe, despite what the weather is like, go fishing, and understanding sometimes how much we take for granted. So I share that with you to ask, as we look at what is happening in our own personal lives, are there things that we're doing that could be impacting the lives of those around us, whether we're deliberately doing it, whether they're our co-workers or our neighbors. And it could be something as simple and for some unintentional. We take our garbage cans out on a garbage day, but we don't collect them to the next day or later on. Now, is that annoying someone in our neighborhood? As simple as that is, that could cause frustration to someone. And are we able to address it? No, it may not be that. Maybe where we're parking, our vehicles, or perhaps our other actions, little things that may not necessarily be that insignificant because of its impact on others. Well, it's a Monday, a lot to think of, a lot to share, and as we pause and take this break, we invite you, if you wish, to give us a call, 949-8037, toll free with the kind compliments of Flow, 1-800-534-8255. You can WhatsApp if you so choose, 925-3261. Please join us right after the break.
Busy, busy, busy. Feel like there's not just enough hours in the day. Savannah Pharmacy, service to make your life easier. Now you can WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. And pickup is just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. Savannah Pharmacy, wholesome values with modern conveniences.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab.
For a full range of medical services, pleasant, clean and comfortable environment, no long lines and affordable fees, visit MedLab at the Smith Road Plaza. Open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and half day on Saturdays. Call 949-7331 to make your appointment.
For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
The MedLab family would like to wish the entire Cayman Islands community a very Merry Christmas.
Freedom, Cayman Brack. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
The best foundation you can wear is glowing, healthy skin. The offices of dermatologist Dr. DWAYNE Porter specialize in enhancing your skin's well-being. Whether you're seeking advanced skincare, including any skin cancers, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email drportercayman@gmail.com or call 946-9020. That is 946-9020.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne EBANKS.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us. It is open line 949-8837, or toll free with the compliments of flow at 1-800-534-8255. You can WhatsApp 925-3261. And thank you very much for sharing, as the lady just messaged and said, she had, deliberately and consciously taken today and tomorrow off with that same intent. But understanding that not only she's trying to get prepared for all the expectations of Christmas, from getting everything prepared and ready for that promised wonderful time with the family as they sit and enjoy. And she said she could not get the time that she had initially asked, so you take the time as part of a team, and you understandably make concessions as you compromise as to who gets what day when. And following what we were just saying, she's now appreciative that next week she has 2 days. She had wanted Thursday and Friday. I don't think it would be improper to share what she said, but she has to instead take Monday and Tuesday. She wanted the weekend to extend so that she has more time to prepare. Now another team member, in addition to Monday and Tuesday as the public holidays, wanted the Wednesday and the Thursday to sort of extend that day off. Some would have the Friday as well. And she was saying just quickly that the importance of having some time without feeling rushed to be able to do some of the things. Now, for her, like many of us, it's too early to get that Christmas beef, because that's not going to be available in her case until Thursday. And that's why she was hoping to get it. She'll still do that. It just means that she'll have to do it a lot earlier in the day, or have someone go a little bit later. Then she'll have to come back, and when she's back, doing all the other things, get to it, seasoned and prepped and ready, to put on Christmas Eve. Little things. And she's mindful how easily we've adapted to the change, of accommodated the now expectation. And when I asked her, she couldn't finish answering, but she says, when I asked, wouldn't it be better in a sense if we didn't have that increased pressures on our lives? And for a lot of individuals, it's become the norm. And so when it is in this rushed, pressured, stressful time, we probably have withdrawal symptoms. We're not quite sure what's going on because we can't sit and, deliberately, consciously put our feet up. And for some, the only reason that we get to do that is when we're actually physically off island. Now, to her response when I asked, well, if you had that, would you probably spend more time here at Christmas and maybe spend more, no matter how much demand it is on your money, would you spend more of it here in this country? And as she was leaving, she said she would come back with an explanation, but yes, was just the very definitive, unequivocal response. And it's perhaps another thing to consider, in that, when we think that people, when they're not physically present, they might actually, spend more of their disposable income in another economy. Well, we can do that now when we are physically present through online and the like. But would we then take that extended time here and appreciate, provided we're offering value for money, provided we're presenting, much that we have? And this is why increasingly it's so good to see that there are people who, either because they've been here forever and have an incredible, immense appreciation for what is, or because they've only come, for the first time and haven't been long, then you get to see what they're seeing through, the way that they're seeing it. And it may cause us to be that much more appreciative of what's before us. Well, 949-837, 949-6990. I will not, even as an endeavor to bring in a humor to anybody and sing, whether it's a Christmas carol or it's a original composition. But what I would invite any and everyone who wishes to share something, use the toll-free line if you want, 949-837, or toll-free at 1-800-534-8255. Or you can WhatsApp 925-3261. And as we go through the week, I'd be interested to hear, from you. Any particular new holiday traditions that you are considering, see if they'll take root? Maybe you have been doing it for a couple of years. Maybe last year was the first time and you thought, could repeat it again. Perhaps there's something else you want to share. Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thank you for calling.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you today?
It's a pleasure to hear from you. How are things in your land of snow?
Well, don't remind me of that because every time I call Cayman, sometimes somebody's at the beach and I just hear the water washing and this and that. Meanwhile, I look outside and I find it is all white. People can't even walk. I say, why am I doing here?
A question I guess you should ask every day.
Exactly, and every single day. Now, Dwayne, I really called to make a special greeting to 7 people at Radio Cayman, but before I do that, I should say that me and my Cayman team, we have won a little victory in relation to the judiciary, in the sense that we had been trying. This is a freedom of information request made in my name, but and I'm the one who initiated it. But there was a lot of interest among my team in Cayman, so we've been doing really like the groundwork and as part of the team. Now, they never wanted the judiciary to release to me the number of judges who have been complained against, what the nature of the complaints were, whether there was a full investigation or whether there was only a summary dismissal of the matter. So I appealed that decision to the reviewing officer within the judiciary, who is Ms. Suzanne Bothwell, and she obtained what she called independent legal advice. I don't know what that means, but I assume that it is probably advice from outside the Cayman Islands because of how sensitive it was, because they wanted to look at the constitutional provisions as well. And basically, the result of that is that, as a result of that advice, which I haven't seen, but that's what informed her decision, she has said that the judiciary must release information from 2016 of all the judges who have been complained against, the results of those complaints, the nature of the complaints, and whether they were dealt with in a summary way or in a full inquiry. But even more significantly, they have now said that you can't dismiss a matter, a complaint against a judge in a summary way. You have to have a full investigation. That's a very significant victory for me because I've been wanting to have this particular judge who I have sued. I have been wanting him to be investigated fully. So I hope that will be carried out. As with every decision, DWAYNE, it's how they implement it, but I have that decision now in writing. And before I close on the legalities, in this same case where I have sued this judge, I have now appealed it to the Privy Council. I served the application. I served it on the Attorney General, and it has been filed with the Privy Council in London. And I completed that process on Friday. So that those people who feel that the judiciary needs to be more accountable, they need to watch that case, because I expect that case, together with this freedom of information victory that we have won, I think it will help to make the judiciary more accountable. At the moment, a lot of people suffering because they don't know where to go once a judge messes up. But that's the tough part of my call. The light part of my call, which I really called for, is to give a special Christmas greeting to all the ladies at Radio Cayman. Now, I know that I can't leave you out, DWAYNE, and I can't leave out OC. And I can't leave out, I can't leave out all the men, but since I know Mr. Loxley Banks, especially Mr. Loxley Banks, because he is somebody who has been associated with Cayman for a long time. So I'll give the three of you and the men a small greeting. But the big greeting for the women, all of them, I think I have them here, Miss Eva, Norma, Miss Paulette, who has got a voice which can cure headaches.
You sure?
Laura, Dion. Pardon me?
Yeah, no, I was teasing you. She's not hearing me now, so it's okay.
Yeah, okay. You can tell her that. She's got a voice to cure headaches. Dion, Martha, April, Susan, Kathy, Shanda, Felicia, Anita, Carsley, and all those ladies, special greeting for them. That's why I really called for them. I love dealing with some of them, or just listening to them on radio. Very, very soothing, very intelligent, a great team you have over there.
Well,
so that's my call for today. I thank you, and you enjoy your season. Let everybody do the things we are supposed to do on Christmas. Drink less, more family, more prayer, more church, and more community. Thanks very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you for sharing that. And this is, I believe, one of the things that we enjoy at this time of year. Many of us are reminded that even those amongst us who may be driven in certain areas, may be inclined, to just ensure that it's all about work. We probably find a few moments during this time to stop, reflect, catch your breath, pause, and to the caller's comments, let's see if we can do more of that. Even the greatest adversaries probably find that they make time deliberately, to do just that and put aside some of their grievances just for a while at least. It would be nice if that could continue, unabated, but it sadly seems to not. But we can wish. Well, I want to invite you to have a very excellent afternoon. Please join us again tomorrow for more Talk Today right after the midday news and midday meditation. If we're here, we always appreciate you sharing with us as we are, making that public appeal, being inspired by His Excellency, who has increasingly said, let's look at our conduct on our roads, whether we're riding, walking, running, whether we're driving, whether we're the passenger. whether we're just casual or moving, or we're occupied, because we're trying to get to a particular deadline. Just do so in a safe, sensible, careful, considerate way to ensure that our roads are as safe as they can be. Until tomorrow, my friends, be blessed.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. MedLab in Smith Road Plaza, your complete medical laboratory solution. Call 949-7331. And Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village, convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays.